You're listening to Dude Podcast with JC and Will. Put some pep in that step. Enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm JC.
And I'm Will. And you're listening to...
Dude.
How's it going?
Good, man. It's going good. You see the setting? It's a little bit different of a setting this time.
Yeah, you're in like more of a... Like usually you're like in a nightclub looking thing. Now you're like in an office with motivational posters on the wall.
This is where I work. This is where I get work done. And I got a motivational poster.
You have a picture behind you. You have a framed motivational... Is that Michael Jordan?
That's Michael. That's
You have a framed picture of Michael Jordan.
big boy. I have a quote from Don Draper, the fictional character from Mad Men, who says, "Make it simple but significant."
It feels like those two things are something you posted on your LinkedIn and thought, I need to frame that as well.
Yeah, maybe that's. But then to really confuse people, I have this strange. It's Kirby from the video game Kirby wearing a Mario hat. So I usually hide him behind for conference calls, but every once in a while when I feel like it's Friday, it's time to party, I may allow him to make a little appearance.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah,
there's business JC who is so different than friend JC, and you posted something on your LinkedIn, and it was something very businessy. I don't even remember what you said, but it was so like out of tone with who my friend JC is. First off, I want to point out that you are my friend JC. On LinkedIn, you are Joel Crumb, the businessman, which is already really funny. And you posted that you started a job, which I'm very happy for you, but everyone in your comments was like, "Congratulations, Joel! Way to get it, Joel!" And I'm like, they're all calling you Joel. They clearly don't know you. You're business Joel. So I said on LinkedIn, I commented, "Congrats, Joel. Excited to see you empowering enterprises to new heights."
I saw your comment on LinkedIn, and I laughed very, very hard. Part of the hustle, man. Unfortunately, the world we live in today, right? You got to do it. You got to do a little bit of that, even though sometimes your soul hurts a little bit after you write some of these things. I mean, 'cause it's like, yeah. But I want to, before we criticize my LinkedIn presence, which is phenomenal, by the way. Great LinkedIn games.
Hey, that's why they give you the big bucks, man.
But I got some LinkedIn cred. I want to give a shout out to two comments that we got on our last, the pod before, because not the last pod, but the pod before, the Dementor Door comment. So Trisha Alaback, who's been someone we grew up with, longtime friend, awesome person. She knows exactly where the Dementor Door is, and it's clearly haunted her dreams. And one of those things that's frustrating. I could imagine frustrating her as she's driving around Tulsa. But then we actually heard from a bona fide architect that door that was elevated, that went nowhere, is in fact
Not
shocking. I know it is not up to code, and he's a little horrified that it is. I don't know if somebody to shut it down or what, but he's not approving of what he sees.
Yeah, he said there's no way that's up to code. So thank you, Trisha and John, for commenting on that.
How many other podcasts are we going to give you a direct shout out for your comment? So, like, if anything, like, again, you can, whatever you want, we're going to talk about. So anyway, I'm in my office right now because the chair is so much more comfy down here. And I just didn't, today was a very taxing day and I just didn't have it in me to go out to the bar. So we were talking about, you were telling me, and we're not going to get details of what the meat of the situation was, but your dad wanted to connect with you on something.
Yeah.
And
Business matters. And he wanted to take you to breakfast. And what I was laughing at was like, I'm telling you what, like, audience that doesn't maybe know this, I have never in my life met a family or the Skaggs family. Yeah.
Business gets done at breakfast.
Yeah.
Not at dinner, not over drinks, not on the golf course. No. Breakfast. And it's been this way at when serious matters are talked about, it happens at breakfast. And it goes back to when we were talking, a month or so back about the woman who was having such a hard time at the breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
I still kind of bring the same challenges because it's like, I mean, that's just, you just woke up and now, we're talking about potentially a new job. We're talking about, ways that we can really build up our 401k. Those are the sorts of discussions that are happening over a big cinnamon roll up some boys with you, Will. And
it's funny you say that because Jordan had this weekend a breakfast, not a business meeting, but she met someone over breakfast this weekend. It's rubbed off on her. I connected with an old friend, Casey Fanning, that we went to high school with.
Yeah,
we went to breakfast together. For some reason, as Skaggs, we like to connect to people over bacon, eggs, and coffee.
Yeah, no, I love it. It wasn't, and in fact, being around you so much growing up, I thought that was the norm. And I would say that the LinkedIn community, as I don't necessarily, I think it may not be the norm as it relates to larger business, which I think more of the norm is still steak dinner, happy hour, something like that.
That's the norm, but not around these parts. I used to do my homework my junior and senior year. I never did homework at night. I always did it in the morning at breakfast.
You want to, ladies and gentlemen, I got a funny story for you, a little bit of inside baseball about Mr. Skaggs. So when me and Will lived together at Oklahoma State, you were roommates, and he went to Panera almost every day. And I don't know what was you get scones? What would you get?
I would get a bagel and a coffee because at the time it was really cheap. A bagel and a coffee.
So here's my concern: if you're at breakfast and you're doing business, I don't want to eat anything. I get nervous.
Here's how you do it. Let me give the Skaggs template. Okay, you go to a breakfast place, right? You order your coffee, you order your water, maybe you order some orange juice, and you talk light business, right? You're talking over coffee, talking light business. When the food comes, you set aside that business talk. Now you're just talking like humans. You're breaking the barrier. You're saying, let's put this business aside, eat some bacon, eat some eggs, maybe a salmon, like you said, and just enjoy the company. When all is done, you get back to business. Keep sipping the coffee. That's kind of how the Skaggs business breakfast goes.
All right,
and then you can go about your day.
I get it. I like it. I mean, I guess also you're waking up early. These are motivated people. These are people that get this. They've been up for hours. They've already done things. So I get that aspect of it. Well,
talk to me about how dinner and a steak dinner and drinks work when you talk business. That doesn't work.
So a dinner like that it's very much like most people don't eat like this, right? They don't. Like, I mean, God for if you do, like you're having some serious heart issues or something like, right? Like, I don't think most people in general, these places that you're going, are usually pretty high end steakhouses, right? Where the wait staff is conditioned to even kind of know, like, hey, people are talking business or shop here. Like they're hyper aware that this isn't just a family thing. Like, and so like they'll even like that's one of the things too. Like when you're making a reservation at a place like this, they'll be like, "What's the occasion? What's the vibes? What are you trying to do?"
Let's bring this back to you're my best friend. I want to make this very clear before I say this. I have a million praises to give you. If you want to hear praises, I'll give them to you all day long. But you are a salesman and a very good one. But you have to play this role of like the LinkedIn bro. And I feel like a LinkedIn bro loves a good steak dinner and whiskey. Like that's the role you play. You're a salesman.
Yeah, exactly. That's the role you play. And here's the other thing that's really nice, in my opinion. This is why I think it works so well. You're giving somebody a little treat that they normally don't get because they normally don't get to eat like that,
which is nice.
Second, you have a couple drinks, and then at that point, people are a little bit more willing to be like, "Hey, by the way, your quote sucks," or "Hey, by the way, I really don't like John when he jumps on the calls. He talks over me, and if John's on this project, I got a problem with that. Fix it."
Are you usually doing the schmoozing, or are you being schmoozed? What's the ratio?
Oh, no one schmoozes. I don't get schmoozed. I schmooze.
That's kind of a bump. Do you like that?
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been schmoozed. I would love to be schmoozed.
I would too.
I invite someone to schmooze, but like at the same point in time, like, what does they gain from schmoozing me? There's nothing to gain from schmoozing me. I'm a schmoozer.
In December, my cousin was in town, and he invited me to one of his schmoozing. He's like you. He's a very good salesman, and he invited me to one of his schmoozy little dinners over a nice dinner. We had wine and drinks, and afterwards we got more drinks, and it was a little window into what it was like to be schmoozed. He paid for the dinner and the drinks, and I was like, this is nice. I kind of like it.
Yeah, no, it's I would love to be schmoozed.
Me too.
And
why are people schmoozing us? We're schmoozable.
I would think that the Dude podcast would give us a platform to be schmoozed.
Come on, people, schmooze us. We like
if
to be
you
schmoozed.
Want to schmooze us, you have listen. Just like the comments that we shouted out before, we're letting our feelings be known. If you want to schmooze us, we are open and willing and easy to schmooze. We don't even need a nice steak dinner. We'll be schmoozed at a Waffle House. This guy loves breakfast. He's made it very clear. All he needs is a plate of bacon.
Schmooze me with bacon and mushroom coffee. I'll take it.
Is it weird that, like, I'm almost 40 years old and I keep ordering chocolate milk?
Yes.
I love it. I order it all the time. And at some point, like, do you get too old for chocolate milk? Is there a point where I'm like, is there a point where I'm going to look at the waitress and she's going to go, no? Like, she's just going to say, like, she's going to look at me and be like, how old are you? She wants my ID. She gets an ID and she reverse ages me. She's like, wait a minute, this is 1987. No, you're not getting a. I have to get a fake. That'd be great. I had to get a fake in order to order chocolate milk. To not
you're 25. Yep. Just started shaving.
That if I was 25, they'd be like, oh man, what happened to you? Yeah, I have a good story. So my brother-in-law has sort of like he's in his 40s, but he sort of has the Steve Martin.
Yeah, he's very youthful looking, but he has gray hair for sure.
But he's got the Steve Martin, like gray. He went gray really early, right? Not quite white, but like gray. But again, he looks.
I think he looks healthier than you and I, for sure.
Yeah.
He's a
I mean,
good-looking guy.
that's not hard. Let's. So it was, for some reason, we were at a wedding and he was with my 80-something-year-old grandmother. And I don't know if it was the waitress or somebody was like, asked him where his wife was or something like that, and was referring to my grandmother. And he was like, what? And he was like, your wife, your wife's so beautiful. Like, he's like, her? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, and he was like, I think he was so like, flummoxed, like, and so like,
It wasn't even, she skipped 2 generations. She went, are you talking like your grandmother?
yeah, like Grandma Needy, like my mom's mom.
Oh my.
Like, I don't know. It's so like the whole rest of the time, like we gave him so much crap. Like the whole family was like, where's your wife? Hey, where's your wife? And again, in the meantime, his actual wife, my sister, is younger than me. She's 34 years old. That's his actual wife. He's in his 40s. And they thought my grandma, they thought they were together. So like we were giving him a hard time the whole time. Like he was trying to hook up with my grandma.
That reminds me when for like a good year and a half. This happened like a couple months ago. For a good year and a half, my wife and I were mooching off my parents' Costco membership, and we were using my mom's Costco card because my dad had a card. My mom just said, "Use my card. I never go."
I mean, it's not really mooching. You're just kind of going out there and showing them to get in.
We're still paying for the stuff with our own money, which it's stupid.
Yeah, exactly. You're not really. I wouldn't even call that mooching. I would say you're just.
But you still have to pay for a membership. We used to have a membership, and we're like, "Why are we paying for this? We can just borrow my mom's card." So one day I'm checking stuff out, and what I would do is there's the picture on the back of the card, and I held it up and I had my thumb over the picture. She goes, "Can I see that picture?" And it was my mom, and I panicked. I said, "That's my wife." And she gave me this look like, she goes, "That's your wife?" And I said, "Yeah, we have the same last name. I can show you my ID." I can't. She gave me this look like, "I know you're lying, but okay." And she said, you have to buy a new membership. You can't have your wife's own card. Like, even that was a big no. But I felt so dirty afterwards, like, ugh. That was a wrong thing to do. My mom thought I was an idiot for doing that. She's like, "Why would you do that?"
What, use your card?
No. Say that she was my wife.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's great. I mean, I don't understand what, I mean, I supposedly like Costco's like really like, they're like, hey, we're going to take this seriously now.
Why do you have a membership? I'm spending like $300 for like 10 items. It's just stupid.
That's the thing. Like, and also like a membership's like $40. Why do they care that much?
And they're charging like $1.50 for hot dogs. Like, the model makes no sense to me.
It is a strange. It is like, can you imagine pitching that model to somebody? They're like, all right, I have this idea. It's a business. All right. We're going to have like a lot of stuff.
Wholesale.
And you're like, wholesale. Bulk. But here's the thing. It's like so much stuff. You're never going to use like a third of it. It's like so much stuff. It's going to like go bad before you end up using it. Okay. But here's the thing. You got to be a member. Okay. All right. So we're going to like give like the members like an additional discount or do something like that? No, not at all. In fact, it's like only like $40, but we're going to be really strict about looking at the card like we care, even though it's very little bottom line to our organization. Here's the other thing we're going to do. We're going to sell a hot dog for $1.50.
But here's the thing, like, if I'm sitting outside of a Costco with $10,000 and say, I want to spend this, I don't want a membership, they have to be like, you can't. I'm sorry. Take your $10,000 elsewhere.
I wish they replaced, like, I wish they did have, like, a big, cool bouncer guy at the front, though, as opposed to, like, an elderly woman Like I want I want a big, cool, burly man who judges me as I walk in. Have you ever been to a restaurant that like makes you feel less than? Have you ever been to a place like that? And then like you actually like get in, you're like it like later on after the fact?
I feel less than everywhere I go, JC.
But you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever been to a spa like that?
You know what? Nothing beats feeling less than by someone who you already thought was stupid. I'm going to give you a perfect example. When I was probably 25, 26, this was when Redbox was still very popular. So one weekend, I go to a Redbox. I'm looking for, the movie that I want to get, and I hear this, beep, 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 beep. And I'm like, what? And I look over, and it's this very large woman in an oversized, like, I think it was like a Spider-Man shirt. It was like a Marvel shirt. It was huge. Think like small town Oklahoma. I think she was missing a couple teeth, if not very dirty teeth.
Of course.
Like crazy hair, right? Okay. And I turned around and I said, "Excuse me?" And she goes, That don't got thorn out yet." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Can you say that again?" Because I can't understand what you're saying. She goes, "That don't got thorn out yet." And I had her say it one more time because I was like, I don't know what this crazy woman is telling me.
Sure.
She repeated it to me like I'm the stupid one. She goes, "That don't got thorn in it. I already checked." She was trying to tell me that Redbox does not have Thor. In case you were looking for Thor, it doesn't have it.
Well, she was trying to help you.
She left, and for a second I thought, like, I feel like an idiot for not understanding it. She had to talk slowly to me, and I thought, no, wait a second, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a polished man.
Yeah, you're a polished man.
You're missing a tooth, and you're wearing a children's shirt.
Yeah, you've always been a polished man. That's what I've always said. Will Skaggs, one of the most polished men I know.
But don't you hate that? When somebody, like, makes you feel stupid, and you're like, no, wait a second. I can't be dumber than that person.
I just had this happen to me at a restaurant. So we went to a local establishment to grab some dinner. It was me, Trey, Carol Ann, and we'd had a couple beverages, and the waitress came up, and she was like, "Would you like another drink?" And I said, "Yeah." And I held up my drink, and then she like just looked at me, and I looked at her, and I was like, I just kind of like shook the drink a little bit to be like, "Hey," and she was like, "What would you like?" And I was like, I would like a Surfside." And she's like, "Which one?" And then I was like shocked because it was the can I was holding. Like, and again, like, here's the thing.
I'm in the mind of the waitress right now. Like, you just waved your drink. What am I supposed to do with that information?
But no. But what I am saying, let me defend this, because I'm going to defend this vehemently.
Okay.
If you are drinking alcohol, for the most part, I think, if you go somewhere and they go, "Hey, can I get you another drink?" More times than not, you're
Give
like,
me the same drink.
It'd be the same drink because
right.
Typically people get, you kind of get yourself sick if you're mixing and matching, and that's just by nature what it is. So like naturally, I would have thought that her inclination would have been like, "Oh, he wants to go," but I'm literally kind of holding my drink up, being like, "See, another one." Like,
I follow you. You.
I'm like, another one. And she wasn't
having it.
So to the point where then I say, like, so there's this awkward standoff between us where I'm kind of like making my little drink dance in my hand. She's not taking the bait or whatever. And then she's like, what would you like? And I'm like, Surfside. And Surfside is a vodka tea drink that's up here. And then she's like, "What kind?" And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, "Lady, like, I've given you all the clues. Like, I like gentle might drink magic. Like, just give me that.
Was she being kind of aggravated almost?
No, she just was acting like she's never had context clues before which is shocking if you're a waiter or waitress. That's like most of your job is just context clues and filling in the gaps. Because I sat there and it's one of those moments where you think you're crazy. You're like, was I doing a really poor job? Oh, man.
That reminds me last night. So anytime we go to the pool, that means automatic bath at night. So we went to the pool yesterday and gave my boy a bath last night, right?
You don't believe in the chlorine bath?
No, sir. But because there's all kinds of... Maybe if we had our own private pool, maybe. But we were in a kiddie pool. There's lots of urine and yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of pee. That's all pee. Actually, I would say probably...
80% of it is pee.
80% of that pool, you're right. It's pee.
For sure. So we did a bath and got him out, and usually right after the bath, both my boys, for whatever reason, they like to dart it right to mom. So there's something about I'm clean, check me out kind of vibe. Their first instinct is not to put clothes on. Their first instinct is go to mom. So Archie, my oldest, my 5-year-old, ran to mom. I kind of clean up the bathroom, and then I go walk into where they are at. And I sit down on the couch, and I kind of let them talk for a little bit. And all of a sudden, I look over, and my 5-year-old's butt, he's standing on the couch. So his butt is right in my face, and he just screams, "Take it away, boys!" And he tries to fart in my face. And I quickly moved out of the way. It's like, where did you get that? He just screamed, "Take it away, boys!" Isn't that the funniest
thing
ever?
Take it away, boys! This is your... Was he farting? Was it audibly loud?
He was trying to.
That's awesome. That's funny.
I couldn't even be mad. I was like, that's brilliant. That's so
That's
funny.
That's vintage, Jim Carrey as Ace Ventura line right there. That's unbelievable. Does he have does your son have a staff of writers at night where he's they're workshopping these things? They're like, and then what you're going to do is you're going to pull down your pants and you're going to say, "Take it away, boys," in front of dad. And then try to push that apart. It's going to be hilarious. The audience will love it.
It was so funny. I could not stop laughing.
So my son, he's got this, the one thing that's making me laugh really hard is my son has this thing where he walks, but one of his arms is
he's constantly singing Yankee Doodle Dandy as he's walking.
What if his arm? It's just he can move it. It's fine. It's hard, but what? It's funny because the other arm kind of sits not doing anything, and the other arm is
he's carrying the baton in the parade, that kind of situation.
He just kind of anytime he's going somewhere. And his whole body also kind of goes from side to side when he's moving quicker. So the whole walking experience is just hysterical looking. Now there's something that I do want me and you to go back, and I can't stop watching this, and I've been laughing so hard, and I think the duties may appreciate it too, because in some ways when I watch it, I'm like, oh my God, this really was our childhood to a degree. So, I've been rewatching Seventh Heaven, and I've been what?
Rewatching Seventh Heaven?
Well, I never.
Did you already watch Seventh Heaven?
Well, I sporadically would watch it as a youth when it was all just not Will, don't pretend
I've never seen an episode of Seventh Heaven ever. You're blowing my... That's for 65-year-old women back when we were little kids. I mean, I don't even think our parents wanted to watch that show. You're blowing my mind right now.
I wasn't a huge fan, so I want to be very clear. I didn't I wasn't watching it regularly or keeping up. I just would be all right, I have some time to kill. I guess it's on the WB or whatever the heck channel it was. Whatever channel carried it, Fox Family or whatever, whoever had it. Like, I was like, all right.
Can you give me a synopsis of what it's about before you go into your story?
Yeah, so Seventh Heaven was an early 2000s. I guess you'd call it like family drama. I don't know if it'd be a sitcom, but the plot was there was a father, he was a pastor, and they had a mother, and there was I believe there was either seven kids, or it was 7 of them in total. I'm trying to think. Was it? Anyway, so it was a big family, and that's why it was called Seventh Heaven, right?
Right.
Now, here's the irony, all right? Turns out, in real life, the actor who played the father on the show, the one who was like the moral compass of the show, well, turns out he may have been a pedophile. Yeah.
Really?
Had multiple incidents with underage women. Like, yeah, not good. I mean, played the role unbelievably well. You definitely gotta sell it. You gotta try to separate the art from the artist there, because yeah. No, I say all this to say, like, that does make the experience borderline hysterical. When comical, I mean, it's terrible but like, it's comical because you're like, oh my God, like, this guy is like the moral compass for everybody, and he played it so well. And you're like, he's a horrible dude. Like, this guy, like, he was trying to take like 13-year-olds on dates. Like, this guy.
It's kind of a Bill Cosby situation. Like, how does this guy sell Jell-O?
So well, again, he hasn't worked since. This came out much later on. So, but the show was hysterical because it was very early 2000s. Like, the plots were just like, they were out of control. Like, it was, one episode, like, there was a girl that one of the guys was like interested in, and like, she was like she probably weighed like 110 pounds, like, tiny little girl, cute girl, and she was in a gang, but you didn't know she was in a gang. And like, you find out she has like, and like, it's also great too, because like, the writers clearly have like no concept of what gang activity is. She had like a ninja throwing star, and she had they were just like items that you were like, okay, what are like
that's the upper echelon of gang activity weapon. Like, that's
whatever Raphael used as a Ninja Turtle, the 3-prongy thing, will have that, like things that like nobody in games uses. Like, this girl had like a belt buckle that had like. So anyway, I say all this to say, like, it's hysterical. I feel like we should have an episode that we break down and discuss with the duties, because I mean, as I've been rewatching it, crying, laughing so hard. And there's also the element of like, it's very youth groupy. It's very how we grew. Like, it's so on par with if you were a kid in the 2000s that was part of a youth group in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that went to like, it spoke to me as a Metro Christian Academy graduate so vividly. I'm like, anybody who went to Metro with us, like, you got to break it down because it's hysterical. It hits home, and they're also just ridiculous, and they don't hold up at all. And you're wondering, like, what planet were the writers on when they were putting this together. So that's my homework, is we're going to have an episode in the next couple episodes. We will have an episode that me and you will watch. We will invite the duties the week before to watch that particular episode. Me and you will evaluate what that episode is. We'll invite you to, and then we will break down that episode and talk about the most ridiculous scenes from the episode, because, man, I've reviewed probably 5 or 6 unbelievable ones. It's good stuff. So we will dive into that. So we'll have an episode. We'll all watch it, break it down, talk about it. Also, maybe make some analogies to our youth as we go through it.
You were saying how, like, we kind of grew up. We both went to the same church. We were pretty involved in the youth group growing up. We went to a Christian school. Like, that was kind of our world. You made me think about something that happened a lot when we were kids, when we would hear a lot of like speakers or pastors talking. One thing that they always do, and they still do to this day, it drives me crazy, as a man who can't hear, you notice when pastors, when they're starting to make like the real big point, they whisper. So it'll be like this. It'll be like, so I was talking to this guy, and he was telling me about his life story, and he looked at me and he said, oh, this was what I thought was got that. And it's this and this and this and that. And that's what he said, and it changed my life. And I'm like, what did he say? I didn't hear it. They whisper all the important parts. Have you noticed that? Every pastor, when they get to the critical moment, they whisper it.
It feels like it definitely is a church thing. I feel like I've seen enough. I've had to endure enough public speaking professionally, and very rarely is the tactic used. But
nowhere else.
In church, my gosh,
every pastor.
It's like the go-to move. It is the.
Here's the other part that's annoying: is a lot of times the pianist is sitting behind waiting for the whisper, and when the whisper comes in, and I'm like, stop playing the piano, stop whispering. I can't hear you.
Yeah, no, we need to break it down, because again, you watch it and you're just like, oh my God, this is so, like, it's awesome, man. It's incredible.
It's a very specific decade, the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, the 90s, the early 2000s, man. It was a great time. Anything?
You know, one of the things about that era that I really enjoy, that you and I both partaked in, was partook.
I partook.
Yeah, we partook in rope sandals, and I kind of liked them. I kind of wouldn't mind them coming back. I loved a good rope sandal.
Oh yeah. Here's the problem with the rope sandal, though. They stink, man.
They
smell.
Really, really stinky.
They absorb. Dude, I remember being like, it was like walking around with like a mop, like just like a.
It smelled like you wedged your rope sandals in an elephant's ass and then put them on your feet. Like, they just were awful.
And it was so bad, to the point where, like, I think, like, I would enter a room at camp, and I'd have to, like, throw them across the room. It'd be like, all right. You'll be like, I can't, like, again, to your point, we come out of a very serious chapel meeting. You're like, I want you to talk about the challenges that you're facing on the home front. And we get in there and you're just sitting down. You're like, JC, I can't think, because I can't concentrate, because the sandal, the smell is so bad, is burned into my brain. And like, seriously, I seriously remember, like, it was like serious moments. I would just whip off the shoe and just like Patrick Mahomes sidearm them like 20 feet as far as I could away from us, so that we couldn't smell them. They were so stinky. I would do them on the rag, and like, I didn't think it was an issue.
Speaking of camp, before I forget this, I want to tell this story, because you and I think this may be one of our favorite camp stories. One of them. We went to the same camp every year for like 10 years. Yeah. We loved it. Yeah. Some of the best summers of my life. And one year we were in a yurt, and we were probably sophomores in high school. And one thing that they had was this they called it canteen. I don't know if that's a common phrase everywhere else, but it's like, you know.
Well, a snack bar. It was a snack bar. Yeah.
And so we went to the canteen and we got our snacks, and one of us had peanut M&Ms. And we go back to the yurt, and we're all eating our snacks. And this guy who we weren't super close with, he just came up to us in the middle of our conversation. He goes, you know, peanut M&Ms make me fart on command. And we go, what? And he goes, yeah, you want to see it? And we said, well, yeah, obviously. So he goes, give me a couple M&Ms. And you and I were looking at each other like, this is insane. We put some peanut M&Ms in his hand, puts them in his mouth. He starts chewing them. He's just kind of sitting there, and he waits a good 5 seconds, and we're just like, is something going to happen? And he goes, and he starts making this motion like he's trying to turn on like a leaf blower, like he's trying to like pull the rope. He goes, 1, 2, 3, and it just the most epic. It was insanity, and you and I couldn't believe it. We were talking about it. Like, I think we instantly became friends with this man. We were just like, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Well, he really should have been at like Cirque Soleil or whatever. I mean, he was a performer. I mean, it was unbelievable to see the amount, the length.
At the very least, America's Got Talent.
It was something to behold. Yeah, no, the farting command. We'll get into more camp stories eventually because we got there's some really, really good ones. But with that being said, next episode, we will determine what the Seventh Heaven episode will be. We will announce it. We will give everybody a week. And then we will, as a group, break down that Seventh Heaven episode, talk about sort of the analogies, or not analogies, the similarities, I guess, that we saw growing up in youth culture, but we also just have to talk about the wheels off, because as much as there's some parallel, they're insane. The show was insane. The fact the show worked and had anybody that watched at all is insane, and we'll break that down as well.
Okay,
but,
I'm excited.
Anyway, duties, you guys are fantastic. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you soon.
Yep. Thanks for listening. Love you guys.
Love you.
Okay.